Hi guys, welcome back to Daniel's project and welcome to the introduction of the upcoming recovery series. Most people who are not training on an elite or professional level are putting a lot of effort in their training but totally neglect the aspect of recovery and rest. I did this too in my past, and that's why I created this recovery series to share some experiences and knowledge with you guys. First, going into training under-recovered will make you prone to injury, and I promise your training quality will not be as good as could be. These days I would rather recover more than train more. This means for me that my risk of injury is decreased, I feel a lot better mental and physical wise, and my energy levels in everyday life are much higher. And I mean, we are on this earth to live and not to train all day, so this makes sense obviously. Before we hop into the first chapter of what recovery is, I want to share a small quote by Moshe Feldenkrais which underlines the importance of recovery. The all-round matured individual is recognizable by his outstanding capacity for recovery from unexpected shocks, disturbances, mental, emotional or mechanical. So what is recovery? Have you ever heard of the term homeostasis? If not, homeostasis can be seen as our internal balance. So our body wants to keep certain parameters within certain preset limits. The range between those preset certain limits is also called homeostatic range. And these preset working conditions are our body temperature, salt conditions, acidity, and our waste and nutrient balances. Keeping those parameters within those certain limits is crucial to survive. Right now you might think, but what has this to do with our training and recovery? Let me tell you. When we train, we set a certain training stimulus, which puts our homeostasis out of balance. In this regard, please keep in mind that training intensity has a bigger effect on recovery than the training duration. So if you train with higher intensities, you need a lot more time to recover from this training than you train at the lower intensity but within a longer training session. Obviously, after training, our body wants to get in balance again, so our body wants to recover from this certain training stimulus. And now we can use different methods to help our body to recover faster and better, so we can make use of the supercompensation principle. In simplified terms, this is recovery in a training context. So what do I mean with managing fatigue? In the chapter before, I quickly introduced you to the supercompensation principle and the importance of a recovery. In terms of physical fatigue, for example, after a heavy push workout, we have sore chest muscles. So there are small micro tears in our muscle fiber that can be seen as structural damage. Now I guess most of you know this. Now it takes up to 24 to 72 hours for our body to repair and heal those damaged structures. But right now I want to talk about managing fatigue, and if you talk about fatigue, we need to take a look at the bigger picture. I mean, we do not have just physical fatigue, but we also have some sort of metabolic fatigue and also some sort of mental fatigue that we do not want to forget here. Factors that promote metabolic and especially mental fatigue are occurring outside from our training, and we usually underestimate those. I mean, if you sleep 4 to 6 hours on a regular basis, you eat a lot of junk food, and you have a lot of stress in your everyday life, you can even be overtrained from life and not even from training. Now you need to understand that everything in life requires energy, not just our training. That's why I created the series, because we need a more holistic approach to recovery and managing fatigue, because most of these factors are not even our training, but different factors in our everyday life. Now let's talk about problem identification. In order to manage fatigue, we need to know what and how something fatigues us. Let me show you a nice and simple way to do this. So create a table and write down 5 to 10 everyday life stressors. These can be training, work, sleep, your emotional life, your kids, noises, for example the street next to your house, nutrition and much more. Now give them a subjective intensity on a scale from 1 to 10. 10 is extremely high and 1 is extremely low. Do this every day for the next 4 weeks, and each day you add them up until you can figure out some sort of a baseline. The higher the number, the more stressed, fatigued you are, and the lower the number, the less stressed or fatigued you are. Based on the average baseline and your daily score after those 4 weeks, you can now decide whether you want and whether you can train today, or if you need a rest day, for example. Please try this method out for a couple of weeks, because the more experience we gain, the more sensitive we become to certain stressors and factors in everyday life, and with this we can easily control them. With this method we can become more mindful to recovery, and we can decide if I need a full day of recovery or just a half day, or if I can train, or if I can train heavy or just light training and stuff like that. In the next videos of this series, I will mostly present you techniques and approaches to managing fatigue and recover from training, but these approaches are mostly bias approaches. So what do I mean by that? In the book A Beautiful Practice by Stephen Nekmanovic, the author talks about a to us and a bias distinction. So I think we should more take a look at this bias distinction, or the by us part of this quote, because this gives us more control and more freedom about how we treat ourselves and how we can control our recovery mechanisms. So in the next videos we will talk about naps and sleep, diet and nutrition, hot and cold therapy, active recovery and mini training, breath work and meditation, self-massage, nature and moving, and about the concept of rest weeks. Okay guys, that's already it for this video. I hope you have a better understanding or better overview of what I want to achieve with this upcoming recovery and managing fatigue series. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do so, like the video if you think this is somehow useful, and share it with others. See you guys in the next one. Bye bye.